So the revolting monster sitting in the White House is doing another unhumanitarian thing. Have you guys heard about this? The Trump administration is just about, any moment now, to incinerate 500 tons of emergency food.
Trump supporters, come on, answer this question for me. What's the purpose of burning up 500 tons of food that could feed up to 1.5 million children?
MAGA, check in with y'all stupid ass. Check in. Because I thought y'all was so pro-life. I thought y'all was so Christian. I thought y'all was just above everybody else. Ain't that how y'all feel, you Republicans? But you voted into office a man that would rather incinerate 500 tons of food that could feed 1.5 million children rather than vote for a black woman.
This is the most inhumane thing I've seen this man do so far. You are really incinerating 500 metric tons worth of food, aid that is supposed to go to women and children who are hungry in other countries. I'm looking for all my Christians that voted for this man. Where are
Child. He said, go ahead and incinerate 500 tons of food. Them kids and women don't need that food anyway. We don't give a damn about them, whether they starving or not. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on a minute.
The day before the sun sets, 8,000 children will die of hunger. Not war, not plague, not disaster, just hunger. A slow, cruel fade into nothing. Their bodies bloated, their bones too light for this world. Somewhere tonight, a mother will hold her child's body like it's still warm. A father will dig a grave with his bare hands and whisper prayers into that dust. A kind of pain that should never exist, a kind that shakes the walls of heaven and demands a reckoning. And we could have helped. We had the food, we had the trucks, we had the planes, we had everything we needed to give that child another day, another chance, another breath. But a man with power chose instead to light a match. He chose fire over life. He chose political convenience over compassion, chose to let those children starve while we paid to burn the food that could have saved them. And some of you will still support him. Some of you will cheer for him like he's holy. Some of you get behind microphones on podcasts and in pulpits and regurgitate the talking points this man and his machine have spoon-fed you. Like obedience is a virtue and cruelty is just some matter of policy. Well, goddamn you for it. Goddamn the indifference that lets us pass for normal. Goddamn the cowardice that lets you look away from it. And goddamn the dumpster fire that you call leadership. Because every time you defend it, another child dies in silence. And all of it, every ash and every scream and every wasted box has our flag on it. I must have missed the part in the Bible where Jesus says to feed the hungry unless you'd rather set it all on fire. Maybe that's in the Gospel of Stephen or the Book of Trump. I don't know. Somewhere wedged between Leviticus and the tax code. Here we are, though. A nation once sent grain to war zones and biscuits to starving children, and now we're paying contractors to incinerate food we've already bought. I'll say that again so it sinks in. We paid for it. With your taxes in mind, with the sweat of waitresses and welders and bartenders and bus drivers. We bought 500 metric tons of emergency food for starving children, and then burned it on purpose. Not because it spoiled, not because we couldn't move it, but because the administration couldn't be bothered to sign a goddamn piece of paper. And that's not even the worst of it. That's just the part they've admitted to, because behind that 500 tons is a mountain. A mountain of food rotting in warehouses from Dubai to Djibouti to Houston. 60,000 metric tons already stalled. Nearly 500,000 metric tons at risk. Food that could feed millions of children reduced to political kindling because this government, this cold-blooded carcass of what leadership should be, decided destruction was cheaper than compassion. Except that it wasn't. Because the incineration cost more than the shipping. The storage costs more than the distribution, and the new bureaucracies they built to replace USAID's logistics teams are more expensive, they're slower, and they're riddled with cronies who have no idea what they're doing. It would have been cheaper to feed the kids. But feeding kids doesn't make campaign donors richer, I guess. It doesn't win the news cycle. It doesn't stoke the nationalist rage. So they lit a match. And while the smell of protein biscuits burns in the Dubai sun, I want to ask you something. What are we doing? We are a country that printed billions for tax cuts, trillions for banks, spent more on drone programs and clean water, more on oil subsidies and education, but feeding starving children in Sudan or Gaza or Afghanistan, and suddenly that's controversial. Suddenly that's wasteful. Suddenly that's not our problem. God damn it, it is our problem. It's our problem because it is our food, bought with our money, stored under our flag, and promised in our name. And now it sits smoldering because this administration chose cruelty as policy, chose fire over mercy, chose silence over urgency, chose to dissolve USAID and replace it with a shell game of paper pushers who wouldn't know a humanitarian corridor if it bit them in the ass. And here's what gets me. The part that really rattles my bones is that we're letting it happen. People will hear this and shrug. Lawmakers will mutter something about supply chains or geopolitical instability like those are legitimate reasons for letting children die hungry, and some of you will still vote for them. Some of you will still defend this shit, still pretend it's normal for America to have the largest food surplus in the world and still let babies starve because the press release wasn't ready yet. And if you're not angry, I have nothing left for you. If you're not calling your representative, if you're not demanding an investigation, if you're not wondering how the richest nation in human history justified burning food while UNICEF begs for scraps, then you are complicit in this. This is not a failure of logistics. It's a failure of the mortal soul. This is what evil looks like when it puts on a suit. It doesn't twirl a mustache. It writes memos. It sends non-authorized stamps and ignores requests. It builds paper walls while the children scream, and it pockets a check while pretending that this is someone else's job. We are so exhausted and so desensitized and so politically broken that we let it happen without barely a headline. And I'm telling you right now, these people have to go. This cruelty has to go. It cannot define us. It cannot become acceptable. It cannot be another thing we archive in the name of keeping the peace. We are better than this, or at least we used to be, or at least we're supposed to be better than this. We have to start acting like it because every box of food we destroy isn't just a tragedy, it's a sermon. And it's preached through flames telling the world exactly who we are. And I, for one, refuse to be part of that church. Not today, not ever. Defiance till death.
So the revolting monster sitting in the White House is doing another unhumanitarian thing. Have you guys heard about this? The Trump administration is just about any moment now to incinerate 500 tons of emergency food. Even though the administration, or the regime as I like to refer to them, were told that these energy bars, that's what they are, they're high protein energy bars meant to help usually victims of famine and whatnot. The administration was warned that these were going to expire, but they were part of the USAID program, you know, the program that Trump has slashed and destroyed, basically, to distribute food and medicine and things like that to especially third world countries around the world. So, according to The Atlantic, the Trump administration has given the order to incinerate food instead of sending it to people abroad who need it. Nearly 500 metric tons of emergency food, enough to feed about 1.5 million children for a week. They've been sitting around in a warehouse, I think in Dubai, and the Trump administration wouldn't distribute them, even though Biden had set it up for these to be distributed to people who need it. And the current regime has left them in these warehouses, and they're about to expire. So instead of distributing them, Trump ordered to have them incinerated. These energy bars were meant for children in Afghanistan and Pakistan. USAID had spent about $800,000 on the high-energy biscuits. One current and one former employee has said this under anonymity because they're afraid, like everybody else. The biscuits, which cram in the nutritional needs of a child under 5, are a stopgap measure often used in scenarios where people have lost their homes in a natural disaster or fled a war faster than aid groups could set up a kitchen to receive them. The bottom line is, this is food that they're dangling in front of children, poor children who are at risk, and they've pulled it back, and instead of distributing the food, Trump and his evil empire are going to incinerate all this food meant for children. What a lovely person.
So TikTok called itself removing the sound from one of my videos that I just posted about Trump. Like I'm not finna post it, cause who the you think you dealing with? MAGA, check in with y'all stupid asses. Check in. Because I thought y'all was so pro-life. I thought y'all was so Christian. I thought y'all was just above everybody else. Ain't that how y'all feel, you Republicans? But you voted into office a man that would rather incinerate 500 tons of food that could feed 1.5 million children rather than vote for a black woman. Y'all draw the line at the Epstein files? That's where y'all drawing the line at? When y'all the ones that voted in the person that is at the top of the list on the file? Allegedly. Y'all voted in a allegedly. But y'all so pro-life. Y'all so motherfucking pro-life. But Kamala Harris's laugh was too much for y'all. Her laugh. But you voted in somebody that said his daughter was a fine piece of Y'all wouldn't even trust this man with your children. But you trust him with the country? Yeah. I know you probably can't understand what I'm saying with your little one raggedy brain cell you got left. But y'all are some evil-hearted uneducated bottom of the barrel people. Clock that shit. And all that business y'all call yourself standing on, we don't want to hear from y'all. Just go ahead and shut the up. Ain't no fucking way. You can't justify none of this shit. Just shut up.
So I'm sure all you Trump-loving Christians out there know the parable from the Bible of the feeding of the 5,000, where Jesus turned 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish into enough food to feed 5,000 men, women, and children. A miracle. Well, today, Trump did the exact opposite. He ordered 500 metric tons of emergency food to be incinerated. 500 metric tons of food that could have fed 1.5 million starving children. Trump ordered that food to be incinerated for no other reason than it's evil. The devil resides in the White House.
This is the most inhumane thing I've seen this man do so far. You are really incinerating 500 metric tons worth of food, aid that is supposed to go to women and children who are hungry in other countries. I'm looking for all my Christians that voted for this man. Where are y'all? Because this is not godlike. This is something Christ would never do. Christ actually multiplied food so that people could eat. This man is burning food on purpose. The Atlantic reports that the Trump administration has given the order to incinerate food instead of sending it to people abroad who need it. This food was supposed to feed 1.5 million children for a week. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a lot to a lot of people, but that is a lot to them. And to purposely burn food instead of feeding people, this is disgusting, inhumane, deplorable. And the fact that a world leader is doing this shit, this is what y'all good Christians call Christ-like. This is what y'all think Trump is. Y'all call Trump the closest thing to God. This is godly-like to y'all. Y'all are really wrapped up in a cult if you think starving children is a part of God's wishes. Y'all can go to hell.
500 metric tons of food are about to be incinerated by the Trump administration. But this is what the left-wing media outlets are not telling you. These weren't leftovers. This was nearly $800,000 worth of food paid for by Biden's USAID in 2024. Boxed up and never sent anywhere. It's been sitting in a warehouse in Dubai. This food was supposed to help kids in places like Afghanistan. But for over a year, Democrats let that food sit in a warehouse. And now it's expiring. And now Democrats are crying because food that they mishandled is about to get destroyed. Food that is expired and expiring. And even USAID workers begged the Biden administration leadership to release this food months ago. But nothing. No action, no permission, and even bureaucrats sat on their hands, and now it's spoiling. And because the Trump administration does not want to give out spoiled food because of health reasons and health risks, now Democrats are saying, oh my goodness, look how horrible Trump is. This isn't about Donald Trump burning food. This is about Democrats trying to cover up their failure to meet the needs that they promised. They're not telling you that over 500,000 tons of food are still sitting at U.S. ports and warehouses, and they're about to expire too. Hundreds of millions of dollars wasted. Why didn't anybody cry about outrage last year, the entire year, waiting for the Biden administration to send this food out? There's always two sides of every story. So before you consume the false narrative that the left always offers people, why don't you see what the other side of the coin looks like? But let me know what you think in the comments section, and don't forget to hit that follow button for your daily updates.
Trump supporters, come on, answer this question for me. What's the purpose of burning up 500 tons of food that could feed up to 1.5 million children? Come on, sip a little tea with Auntie. Let's talk about it. So, they had some high protein biscuits. Food, y'all, that could have fed up to 1.5 million children at one time. And instead of him taking it, it's got flooding going on in all different type of areas, different people affected by different things. Why not take that food? If you didn't want to give it to another country, put it in your country and give it to your people that's suffering from national disasters, flooding and storms and tornadoes and all that stuff. Make that stuff available until y'all can get kitchens and stuff up from when we lose power and we lose homes and we get flooded out and all that. Why burn the food up? 1.5 million children could have ate from there, but you burn it up. What's the purpose of that? I mean, I get it. And I wanted to send it to the other countries because all the other countries don't like you right now, so you don't want to help them. I get it. But why not put it back into your own country? What you burn the biscuits up for? You could have thrown a little gravy on them. We all could have been eating off them damn biscuits. And I know before y'all come on there, it's not that type of biscuit. It's a protein biscuit. I don't give a damn protein or not protein. You still can put a little gravy on it and make it taste good. Thank you. Thank y'all for sipping a little more tea when I see. Bye, y'all.
So if you haven't heard, Donald Trump is set to set fire, incinerate 500 tons of food that was supposed to be going to the children of Afghanistan and Pakistan, okay? The food could have gone to help 1.5 million children. It amounted to about $800,000 in taxpayer funds. I don't know about y'all, but as an American citizen, as an American taxpayer, I'd much rather feed starving fucking children than create more CO2 emissions by a big ass fucking bonfire. We have farmers in jail while inflation continues to rise, and our president chooses to burn emergency food. This is just more proof of how wasteful and abusive this government is. And I honestly personally cannot stand for it. $800,000 worth of food. 1.5 million children could have been helped. But no, we burn it. We burn it. I mean, there's a whole ethnic cleansing that just started in Tigray, in which women are being sexually assaulted and having screws shoved into their uteruses. In the same region where we're burning $800,000 worth of food that could have helped 1.5. I'm just saying, bro, this has to stop. But if you want more information, I'm going to keep my eye out on everything because everybody keeps sending me everything. Thank you, by the way. I really appreciate it. Yeah, follow him for more.
This video is not for Trump supporters. This will waste your time if you are a Trump supporter, so you can just keep going because I don't want to waste your time today. I do want to talk about the fact that the Trump administration has ordered 500 metric tons of food to be incinerated. This is food that was meant to serve as aid around the world it is enough to feed 1.5 million children for a whole week. And we are just going to burn it instead because it's been sitting for 5 months and now it is going to expire. In the human aspect of this, not feeding hungry children with food that exists for them is extremely upsetting. But I want to talk about the impact this is having on our global standing in the world. The problems that we have created by setting literal fires to the promises we have made to other countries are not just going to stand there and be ongoing problems that these countries have to fix on their own. The vacancies we have left are being filled by other countries who see this as an opportunity to improve their global standing. The problems we are creating for other countries when we abandon our trade relationships are solutions they are finding in other countries. Just because America decided it did not want to be a part of the world anymore doesn't mean that the world stopped moving and that the world is impossible of functioning. Even if tomorrow we decided that we want to go back to the way things were, new allyships, new partnerships have already started to form. There is no going back. And I firmly believe that we will not see the other end of these consequences in my lifetime. The outcomes of our elections matter. If you are someone who has not voted because you think it is inconsequential, I need you to go to the polls and vote for every election, big and small. If you are someone who voted for Trump and you're regretting that, you're questioning that, and you're having a hard time, please message me. I am happy to walk through that with you. I came from a super religious background where morality and politics were intertwined, and leaving that was straight up traumatic. So if you are wrestling with things, I am happy to sit and listen. Anyways, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. It's pretty boring, so if you stuck around for the whole thing, that's pretty impressive, honestly. Thanks.
Child. He said, go ahead and incinerate 500 tons of food. Them kids and women don't need that food anyway. We don't give a damn about them, whether they starving or not. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on a minute.
We have some big news right now. According to The Atlantic, the Trump administration has given the order to incinerate nearly 500 metric tons of emergency food, enough to feed about 1.5 million children for a week around the world, instead of handing it out to people who need it. The food, which was typically allotted for children in Afghanistan and Pakistan, will now be turned into ash, according to The Atlantic. The food is specifically $800,000 worth of high-energy biscuits that were purchased by USAID during the end of the Biden administration. These biscuits are, according to The Atlantic, used in scenarios where people have lost their homes in a natural disaster or fled a war, faster than aid groups could set up kitchens to receive them. They were stored in a Dubai warehouse intended to go to the children this year. But now the Trump administration has ordered that this food be incinerated, turned into literal ash, instead of being handed out to the children that need it.
I thought y'all said that all lives matter. I thought y'all said this was a Christian man. If that's the Christ that you advertising, I don't want none of it. Because the one I'm familiar with don't act like this. I thought that you said that you was pro-life. That you wanted to protect the babies and protect the children. But you okay with seeing 500 tons of food get turned into ash instead of giving it to the kids? But these are the same people that said that the alligators would have 65 million meals. Because you okay with people getting eaten by the alligators. These are the same people that said that. Child, it's some real evil stuff. Ain't nothing you can tell me that's going to make sense to me in terms of burning food instead of just giving the food to the people that it was already allocated to give to. It's not going to hurt you or take any more money out of the budget to give this food to these people. It's already been allocated. That's some evil stuff, ho. But I want to know from his base what y'all think about this. I want to know how you justify this. This is horrible.
Just when you think the Trump administration couldn't possibly get any worse, they give the order to destroy, to incinerate food that would feed 1.5 million hungry children. If you don't think that that's cruel, I'm not sure what to tell you. But this is about the most American thing that I can think of. Trump, a billionaire, destroying food that hungry children need to live. This comes right on the heels of the big, beautiful bill which strips away health care from people who need it the very most. So this is just one more thing. And we know there are many people who voted for Trump who would not vote for him again based on what they've seen over the last 6 months. Let this be yet another reason to pivot hard in another direction.